Blake, hello.
Hey, Clint, how you doing?
Dude, oh man, how's it going? It's great to hear from you, man. How's everything? You get look at you and your professional setup here and everything. I love it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I had accumulated some recording equipment over the years and put some decent use to it.
That's what I love about interviewing musicians. I do a sports show too, but you guys all know how to like get on here and like look good and sound good. That's what I love about doing this, man. And it's great to hear from you for the first time. A member of Joyous Wolf is on the show, and it's great to have you, man. I know a lot of excitement coming up as the new album is on the horizon.
Super exciting. Yeah, truly.
The for the I, it'll, It's 7 years, right?
Yeah, actually since the last
Since
compilation release, it's
yes,
crazy.
I mean, is there like a level of anxiety? Is it excitement? Like, what are the feelings right now as we get closer to August 21st?
Oh man, it's such a big wave of just release. Honestly, that's probably the best thing I could say it would be is just like such a release of momentum and emotions, all those kind of things. We've released singles here and there throughout that timeline, but just as a rock band, that's not really truly what we set out to do is just like release singles here or there. Like it's always been like about the album experience for us, and especially this being our first full length, it's super exciting to like be on the precipice of that.
I love that, and I've just been listening to it all day. I'm such a fan. It's called In Between. August 21st is the date. Love the cover too. But man, this is just you talk about just in your face, raw. Kind of all the things that I love about rock and roll, man. And it hits me and it hits you over the head, and it's immersive and it does so many things. Like, how do you feel like that as you're on the verge of that your guys' musical kind of prowess, that your sound has evolved, and did you feel like that where it's at right now with this album, like that's where you were trying to get to this whole time, like this was the end game?
Thankfully, I feel comfortable, at least speaking personally for myself, and saying that it really did feel that way. Yeah, truly. Like everything felt like it built up to these songs that we ended up writing and accumulating. A lot of the times as a rock band, you kind of feel like you have two options. It's either like on or off. And like what I mean by that is it's like a lot of the times what we felt in the past, we just had to like come out of the gate like all on 10, and then slow down for like a slow song for like one or two songs, so having to be able to have like a really good range of dynamics with this record, to have like some real interactive play with the audience's experience and emotions, and not just like have them be listening to what's happening, but almost to have it feel like it's their own experience. I feel like that was the first time we were able to achieve that.
I love that, and that's exactly kind of what I was alluding to. And I loved. I mean, you guys about a month ago put out the video for Runaway, which is excuse me, tremendous. And you also have the wow, cough button. Where'd that go? The video for Juniper as well, which was a couple months ago. So like putting those songs out, like how do you feel like that those songs, setting the scene for this album? I feel like that those were two great tracks to kind of get people, into this mood, into this groove, so to speak.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we definitely felt so too, that they're probably like two of the more like energetic songs throughout the course of the song. I feel like, and to have them be singles just like kind of made the most sense. But we've released singles before, and it's always kind of just been like a process, going through the swing of things. But with this one, it definitely feels different because it feels like it's a build up to the entire album, as well as us being super stoked on the production that we got from the album. Like that was a real treat to be able to do it that way.
Okay, Blake, so you guys have been playing shows relentlessly, touring, slugging it out, playing live. That's what a band does. That's what a rock and roll band is, and that's what I was, grew up with, and that's what I love about you guys. But now, how's it been feeling like to sort of go in reverse and then focus on this album where you haven't Like you don't have any shows, I don't think, on the books right now, right? On at least on the website right now.
Yeah, not at the moment. It's definitely something that we're planning on once the album releases and we kind of have like some more ammunition to be able to like, because we've been playing these songs ever since we did our last I would say like 2 or 3 tours. And they were definitely long tours, and we were playing all this new material and nobody had any reference point for it, because like we want to play the new material, but then our fans can't go and listen to that new material. So it's kind of like this awkward catch 22 that I feel like we're finally going to be super stoked to be able to do once the album is out, and then we can go out and like play all these things that we wanted to all along.
I mean, you guys have played big shows like Aftershock. I think you've played Louder Than Life. These are festivals I've been to and covered from a media standpoint. Do you have a preference? Because I mean, you guys also, you guys are one of those bands anywhere, anytime, any place. To me, I mean, it could be, a club, it could be a theater, it could be opening for, Miles Kennedy. It could be playing with other bands that are kind of peers of yours. And kind of double headlining shows. Do you have a preference? Is it like, hey, you get like a 40-minute set at a big festival, it's a huge crowd, or do you like, hey, we can do a longer set in a smaller venue? Do you have like a preference, or you just kind of like, hey, we like all of it?
Oh, that's a great question. They're like so different. It's hard to choose. There's like an indescribable feeling to be able to play to a big crowd at a festival, because like nobody knows who you are and you just hope that you have like a good reaction, and if you do, it's in front of like a great audience. So that's an incredible factor. It is a little bit less intimate just because of how much space physically there is between us and the audience, and then as well as there being a lot of other things around there, right? Whereas like at a club, like a medium-sized club or a small medium-sized theater, people are usually there to see 1 to 3, 1 to 2 bands. So it's a lot more intimate and like focused. And I feel like the energy a lot of the time is more so better capsulated in that kind of environment. So we kind of like both. It just kind of depends. But yeah, they're both fantastic.
Blake, we're talking to Blake Allard from Joyous Wolf, a band that I've just been so high on for so long, and I'm can't wait to see, because I know what the reception of this album is going to be, because I've heard it all front to back, in between, August 21st. But you're a SoCal guy, right? You guys are a Southern California band from the OC, right? Orange County.
That's correct. Yeah,
right.
That's correct.
So I'm a guy that grew up, and I'm from Missouri, but like bands that came out of Southern California, from LA, from the Sunset Strip. I love Motley Crue and Quiet Riot and Van Halen and every band like that. So do you feel like that the Southern California, I mean, how has it changed over the years? And a lot of people that say like, that are from like Orange County say like, oh, we're not from LA, we're from Orange County. It's like a whole different dynamic. Do you feel like that's the case for you guys? Or are you just like, hey, it's all SoCal, it's all good?
I definitely think it's all SoCal. It's all good at the end of the day, for sure. I think that there are different like signs or like maybe things that people focus on more so depending on like what area you're in. I feel like a lot of the time in Orange County, people are like really focused on building a close, intimate crowd that like really grassroots movement kind of build their identity, whereas like in Los Angeles you have a lot more like opportunities, so there's a lot more shopping involved or like showcasing that sort of thing. So we kind of like to go back and forth to workshop things from where we're comfortable at from like a home standpoint, but then to do it in front of maybe a broader audience that is just a little bit outside of our neighborhood.
Your band Joyous Wolf is one of the first times I heard sort of this term that took on a life of its own, new wave of classic rock. You think about Greta Van Fleet, a band that I'm a huge fan of, Dirty Honey. We've had Mark LaBelle on the show. Love those guys. I know you've played shows with them. I mean, Dorothy, so many, White Reaper. These bands that fall into this category, do you feel like that term fits? Do you feel like that this was all just sort of like something convenient? People lumped it all in, like everyone said, hair bands in the 80s. Do you feel like that? Or do you feel like, no, that kind of was the focus, that these bands do encapsulate that and you guys do as well?
That's a good question. I kind of think that it was just like a term that got like threw out and somebody's like, oh, we'll change it later. And then it never really changed. It was like kind of always a label that just got like permanently imprinted, that was maybe more so meant to just be like a filler label that somebody wrote up during a review or something. Right.
Yeah.
But I understand why people call it that, because it's honestly like, from an outside perspective, you're kind of complimenting the band in a way, because you're like, this is what it felt like when music was real. And that's what I feel like whenever people say that, that's the kind of effect that they mean behind it. Not so much from like a nostalgic perspective, but
Mm.
more so from like an intelligent fan who goes out of their way to really like uh scope out specific music. They're like, hey, I like this because this is clearly real, and it's not something that's like trying to be shoved down my throat or like advertised in a certain way. It's just like, it's very encompassing for like a fan experience to like feel a part of a band.
I love that. And I think and maybe there's just, it's a convenient way for people to sort of understand bands that have a similar attitude, sound, and that's kind of how it's always been. I mean, that's what we do, grunge, and that's what we do, right? But you're right. I think that's interesting you say that, because I'm a very nostalgic guy. I love, bands that bring me back to the 70s and 80s, but I don't really, as much as that there are things about bands like Joyous Wolf that put you in that. And I think it's just the attitude, and it's the focus of like, this is of just being in your face, being like a band that you're proud of, that this is my band. It doesn't, you guys aren't a nostalgia act by any means at all. So it reminds me of the future of like, this is what's going on now. This is what we'd love to go back to. So, I mean, do you feel a lot of pressure at all, just being that rock and roll goes through phases? It goes through, ups and downs, and that like, this is sort of where rock and roll is at. Bands like the Struts, I've mentioned so many, but you guys are a part of that. And hey, no pressure at all. But you guys just got to like keep rock and roll going for the next 10 years. It's no problem, no pressure.
No, I totally get what you mean. Honestly, no. I mean, it's so cyclical with like how things go by, as far as like what's popular, what's not, what's underground, that sort of thing. I think that always, if you just play the music that is like honestly true to yourself, I think that you will kind of like be like a candle in the wind, so to speak, and like you'll kind of survive any storm that is like around you. So long so is like you're just true to yourself and you connect with people, and they clearly see, oh, I like this band because they clearly enjoy what they're doing and they're real. They're not trying to like pander or anything like that.
Has there ever been a point through this process where you were like, maybe you and some of the other guys all talked about it, or maybe it was just internalized, where you're like, man, I don't know. I don't know if we can do this. I don't know if this can happen. I mean, getting to where you guys are at is like, I mean, you talk about like, I'm a football guy. Players that make it to the NFL, that's an upper 1% of this world can get to, even where you guys have gotten to, let alone on into the galactic, nature of this business. Has there ever been a point where you're like, man, I don't know how we get there. I don't know how we do this.
The initial thought of that, 100%, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's never really been something that we've stressed out about, because of like, wherever we have been able to get to in the past, that moment that we did soon thereafter actually get to, that was never even usually a goal, which like sounds crazy, but like, just to maybe explain it better, when we first all got together, the only goal that we had was to write the music that we wanted to write and perform very proficiently and technically, because we were, proud musicians, or just wanted to hone our craft a little bit more, and we never had any kind of desire to be like, oh, we want to get signed to a record label, and oh, we want to like have a big booking agency. It's like, none of that was even a thought in our head, because we were just like so under the radar about like wanting to work on the music. And I think that there's like a really important lesson there for like anybody, and ourselves included, where it's like, if you always just focus on that and like what's always been at the heart of the music, I think everything else always falls into place. I think the more that you try to focus on the shiny object that's like on the pedestal, the more that you like push the goalpost back and back and back. So it's always like a great byproduct. It's like if you have like a great paying job and you get an awesome car, it's like, oh wow, like I have an awesome car. Well, like, no, it's like a byproduct of your success. It's not like something that just fell in your lap kind of thing. And maybe that's a comparison there somewhere, but I think that's kind of how we've always felt about it. It just, thankfully, things have always just happened, but we've always had like that root in mind about like, it's always just been about what we wanted to do with the music.
So Blake, I got to be honest, I love your tone. I love the way you play. I love just everything about that. Who are your guitar heroes? Like who'd be like on your Mount Rushmore?
Oh, Mount Rushmore. Dang, that's a good one. I think definitely Buckethead.
Wow, love that,
Dimebag, yeah, Buckethead is like one of my favorites of all
dude.
time, still to this day. Buckethead, Dimebag Darrell, for sure. Um, BB King would be up there for sure. And then if I could pick another one, I would probably pick like Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah,
He's probably the most creative guitar player like I've ever heard.
I love that, and I think that you right there just kind of summed up why a band like Joyous Wolf, why you sound the way you do. I think it all because I'm assuming that the guys in the band maybe come from similar backgrounds, similar, interests and influences. And man, that all comes through when you think about just, you said BB King, you think about just that early blues and how influential that was. And you think about just like the hard rock guitar defined by Jimi Hendrix and Buckethead, what he's done to take it to like the next level. And he's so like visual and so like out there with his playing. So you've like really crossed a lot of bounds there, and I think that that's really interesting. I would never have guessed the Buckethead when the others I might have like come across, but that is sweet, man. I love that.
Oh, dude, I'm glad because I feel like he's kind of like like he's not even a guitar player's guitar player. He's kind of
Right.
like just such a hidden gem as far as like a musician and songwriter goes. It's like he's able to shred so melodically, and I still like remember the licks in my head on any given day just because of how much it like affected me. And so yeah, he's just always been up there.
Dude, I love that. Talk about your singer, Pedro. I mean, I think the vocals on this album are tremendous. I think he has this just like really, for lack of a musician's term or any sort of like semblance of a voice of my own, just this real gravelly, he's got this just like sort of like gravitas to his voice that just sort of hits the right notes at the right times. Talk about him, what he's meant to this band, and just formulating the sound of this album, because I think he's at another level here.
Dude, I mean, I couldn't have said it better myself. He absolutely is at another level. And I think that, we're all super lucky to have him with us and to be able to vibe not only on a musical level, but on like a personal level as well, has really solidified the relationships in this band, like very, very concretely. Yeah, I just, to try to keep a long story short, Pedro's also a phenomenal guitar player, like phenomenal guitar player. And he invited me out to jam with him one night in Santa Monica. And a lot of the times at jams, you have to wait a few songs before like going up. So like I'm kind of just like sitting off to the side watching. And he starts singing. And I don't know if I just didn't pay enough attention on his Instagram, or maybe it didn't hit me the same way, but it was one of those moments. And I remember like the first time I heard Mark LaBelle from Dirty Honey
Yeah.
sing live in person, it's just like this moment where he does something vocally and everybody in the room, no matter what they're doing, turns to watch, and you understand that like it's something greater that's just happening. That was exactly what I felt with Pedro. And then when he actually auditioned with a couple of our songs, I was like, oh my God, this is just like couldn't have been smoother, like exactly what we needed from the material that already existed. And then we had this entire album that's been needing vocals on it for so long, and then he did his thing, and it's just like on a completely other level, in my opinion.
The universe tends to find a way, man. That's what I love about this band. Everything that you guys have done, I'm so grateful that that this is going to see the light of day. Before we let you go, Blake, I tell you, I got to hit you. We do our final four drum roll, which is 4 quick questions. We have some fun with it. You give us what comes to mind, and we'll send them home happy, as I like to say. Question 1, I got to know, what was your first ever concert that you ever attended, my friend?
It was an Aaron Carter concert.
You probably had to answer that before, and you're like, you've probably wrestled with the fact, like, do I just go with that or do I make up one? But you know what? I freaking love it.
Have to be honest.
What's the story with that? How'd that happen?
Oh, before I was even into music, I was just some kid, and that song "I Like Candy" or "I Love Candy."
Oh yeah, that's right.
I thought that was the catchiest thing ever. And then I remember my mom went to go take me to see his concert, and I wanted to leave like after halfway through because the concert experience for me at that age was just like way too much. But I just wanted to hear that song.
Okay, that's like I mean, we get I ask that of a lot of people, and it's like, I don't know if people just rehearse it. They always have a good answer. Like, oh, I saw The Who in 1966, older veteran bands, but no one's ever said that before. So that I'm keeping that one as one of my favorite all time answers. Um, what song from this new album in between that you've been playing live, like what's the one that you feel like is hitting live that's like, man, this is like going to be a staple of our live set for years?
I think like a staple of our like in that context, maybe one that like hits hard and like you said is a staple of our live set. Probably Karma, I would
Yeah.
think. Karma's like I think it's a phenomenal song and I really enjoy playing it and listening to it. And there's usually maybe it's like because it has an abrupt ending, but usually live it's always like a pretty good reaction to it. Although like in the album context, it might be like kind of hidden. There's always just like a very great, powerful feeling that I have and we all have when we play that song.
I was going to throw out Shadow Master and see if could that be one. That's
Oh,
one of my favorites.
oh, In Your Shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, I mean, that has a great hook to it.
Yes.
It's a very up song. Yeah, for sure. For
That I
sure.
could see that one like really just hit in a live setting, but that's just me. Okay, we've got the first concert out of the way, so now this might even get even more interesting. What was the first album that you ever bought, like with your own money? Like you bought an album, or I guess maybe in your case even streamed.
um, oh man, I actually, it's been so long. I don't even know if I could remember the one that I first bought myself. A lot of the ones that I found in like my parents' garage when I was younger and I
Yeah,
was like first getting into rock music, there were two records that I played to death on repeat when like iPods were still a thing before
yeah.
the iPod Touch or iPhone. Um, it was the AC/DC Back in Black album and the Guns N' Roses Greatest Hits record. Those two were just like on repeat all the time, and I got very familiar with like the deeper tracks in Back in Black, and then a lot of Guns N' Roses material where I might not have sat down and like listened to an entire Guns N' Roses record, but heard like some of their bigger songs. Those were, I mean, killer starters for sure, I think.
Yeah. Couldn't be a bigger fan of those, of course.
Yeah.
Um, this is, this doesn't have to be a quick answer. This is kind of one I've not asked anyone yet, and that people are starting to get asked it in interviews, and I'm curious, especially because you guys are such a live band. You're so immersive, and do you feel like that there's any room for AI in music?
At least for what we do, I don't really think so. I think that we have like a very organic songwriting process, and especially from like a visual art or like a lyric perspective, I feel like that's all pretty organic. Where I could see it being extremely useful is like a possible songwriting tool for people who are like maybe not super well versed with like music theory,
Mm,
and like if you have all this inspiration and you just don't really know how to put the pieces together, I think that for as far as like AI being like a tool set or like a data resource, having that to kind of be like a checker for what you're doing or like a suggestion thing is actually pretty cool. But at least for what we do, and as far as like generating content, I probably not really our thing. I think it's a great tool for like information. I'm not a huge fan of like trying to think about ways to like use it for art. Now, one thing that I could see being really, really cool is like setting up AI for like some kind of like integrated light shows
mm,
live, like
yeah.
specific things like that, to where it's not like you're generating it for like entire concepts or artwork. Like it would be hard to imagine like the Eddie guy from Iron Maiden being like an AI generated thing nowadays, like maybe not, but I think that there are certain things maybe on like the technical live back end, like what roadies or hands would use as far as like mixing or doing light shows. That could be a great opportunity. But as far as like the artist perspective from us, probably not so much.
Yeah, no, that's a really good answer. And that's like got me thinking about some things because I use it just for things like you said, like ideas, spit something out. But I've been wanting to do like an intro for this show forever. I'm like, I don't know anyone that would just make an intro for this show. I didn't even know any of the apps to do it. I did it in 5 minutes, wrote lyrics, put it into this thing that spit out a 4-minute song with like a chick that sounds like Lita Ford belting out like it was. I'm like, oh my God, this is freaking scary. Like this song's actually good for one, but like at least I think we're drawing the line between like, okay, this is what this is, but like this is not, like Spotify doesn't recognize it, I don't think anymore. Like this, it can be used for that, but like it's not like, this isn't like an artist that's selling music. Like this is not, it's different. It's just a separate thing, maybe.
No, I think you're exactly right. It is a separate thing, but still kind of related. And for
Right.
you, for you, it's a business, and that's
Right.
actually extremely advantageous to be able to like package everything up. And I mean, there's so many things that you can do with AI as far as like automations, workflow integrations, daily to-do lists, like calendar checks and syncs, stuff like that. So again, very business side, so like, which is still fantastic, but I think that it can still have like good uses around music. It's just from like maybe the artist perspective of like us as a band, like just probably not.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely wonderfully said. And like I said, and there's a lot of bands that I go see now. I'm like, okay, I'm a huge Kiss fan, but those guys were in their 70s on their last tour, which lasted a long time, I will admit. But there's backing tracks involved, and there's a lot of back and forth about that. Like, and I'm torn about it because I love Paul Stanley. Can Paul Stanley sing like he did on Destroyer? No. I want to go to the show and enjoy it. Do I need his voice to sound perfect? I don't. It's like a mind F for me because I don't quite know how I feel about like backing tapes and stuff. Like, how do you feel about backing tapes? That's all for you guys. It's obviously got to be a no because I know you guys. I know your sound. I know you would say hell no.
Yeah, and again, for us specifically, that would be a case where we probably wouldn't be interested in something like that. But I've seen so many artists who I genuinely like for different reasons that would benefit so much from stuff like that, and I probably wouldn't like it without it. Like
that's exactly right.
Like there's phenomenal bands out there like I'm trying to think of a couple off the top of my head. There, Spirit Box and like Bad Omens, like a lot heavier kind of bands.
Motionless
like
in White would be one.
Totally. Yeah. That have phenomenal studio production. And they're like, well, we have a great show. Obviously, we need to have that as part of our show. It's not like they're trying to be like Led Zeppelin, like from the, 68, 69. Completely different. So I think that stuff, where it's true, and still that's true to like who they are for what they're doing. Also, I think that's exactly what people like that should be doing, and especially for that kind of music too. It's awesome to see.
That is so thought provoking. I'm so glad we got to go off on a little tangent there. We were just having fun talking about you going to an Aaron Carter concert. Now then we went down another rabbit hole. I'll tell you what, Blake, I can't thank you enough. Again, I want to remind everybody, the new album In Between, it's out via Blue Grape Music, August 21st. You can go to the website, joyouswolfband.com. You get all the information when the shows start piling up. They're going to be there. Keep a lookout for that. I can't wait. I'm going to come see you guys the first time you get any date scheduled here in America. I'm going to come find your all's asses and kind of break the chain here because I haven't seen you live yet, so it's got to happen.
Oh, that would be amazing. We would love that.
Oh, thank you so much, Blake. It's a pleasure as always. Best of luck with the new album. The reviews are going to be great. I've already sent mine in to the label and stuff. So, all's good there. You get at least one positive review. You should have a lot more coming too. Thank you so much, my friend.
One's better than none, man.
That's
Thank
right.
you so much.
Thank you so much, Blake. Appreciate the time, my friend.
Thank you so much. You as well, Clint.
You bet.